Good morning, guys. I thought I'd take you through a full day of eating on a rest day at 14 weeks out. So food's pretty low now on a rest day. It's 200 protein, 160 carb, 50 fat. Training day is quite a bit more, just to fuel performance. And then tomorrow we implement our first back-to-back refeed. So I might record that for you. It's 550 grams of carbs each day. So I tend to backload quite a few of my calories, my carbs to the end of the day. But I do still try and get 5 meals in just for the protein feeding. So I'll show you how I do that today. So it's not really the most exciting foods, but it gets the job done. Hunger itself isn't too bad, but I expect that to change after the refeeds. I'll probably be starving. But yeah, normal routine this morning. Woke up, have my coffee. I don't wait half an hour. I don't know how people do that. I know it's not the best to have it straight away, but I do. I have that during my 30 minutes of steps, and I also have a litre of water on the side with electrolytes usually, but I ran out of electrolytes today, so either a gram of each of them. And then after all that, we're here now having meal one. So meal one, strange meal to some aren't. I haven't seen it before. Raspberry. Oh, don't you hate it? I know. I was going to say, don't you hate it when you have to pick the new seal, but I think this one's a tear. There you go. Okay. Frozen raspberries. For no other reason than cheaper. So literally, these are half the price of the fresh ones in Insta, and they taste nicer. Because you got to remember, frozen stuff is picked when it's at its most ripe, and then it's frozen straight away. So yeah, there's 150 grams of them. And yes, at stage of prepper, we have to be this meticulous, unfortunately. But it's all part of the process. So what I do is, so I'll put this in the microwave for 30 seconds. You don't have to, but I want it straight away. So with that, we'll have protein. Vanilla is the nicest, but well, it's not the nicest. It's the nicest with this. Otherwise, you don't want too much flavour. Well, I think chocolate ones are a bit gross with it, to be honest with you. I'll save them for oats and stuff. So 45 grams. What you want to do with this, you want to mix it into a paste. Now, that's where the fine art comes in. You don't want it too runny, otherwise you just drown the raspberries and it goes all watery and gross. But also you don't want it too thick, otherwise it won't mix. Let me stuck to the cup. So, I'm going to try a 1:2 ratio today. No, I'm not. I'll start with like 80 mils. You can use milk, milk's a bit nicer, but I actually have 80 mils of milk in my morning coffee. I'm not at the stage where I have to have black coffee on black coffee. For me, it's worth the sacrifice for a little bit of milk. In my coffee, I just prefer the taste. So I've actually probably done this a bit too watery. Oh no. It's thickening out now. Use a teaspoon to mix it. When you've got a little bit of water in there, it actually mixes really well. All you do, you re-angle this, and all you do is literally pour it on. Fill up, mate. Prep, so every single gram, and you get that nice, I don't know if you can see that really well on the camera, nice gooey texture, beautiful. So I also have that with some of the best chocolate out there, 85%. I do prefer 70 actually, but health. And I'll have 15 grams of that, and that's all the meal is. Like I said, it's really not that much. So it's literally 150 grams of raspberries frozen, microwave for 30 seconds. The whey paste on top, which is 45 grams of whey, 80 grams of water. It actually came out all right. I thought it was too runny, but it seems to be okay now. And then 15 grams of dark chocolate, and that's literally it. What you'll see today is my first 3 meals are very pro-fat. So what I mean by that is that there's next to no carb in them, because when you're on 160 carbs, I'll save them for the end of the day. And they're a little bit more exciting, the meals then. And then tomorrow I'm on 550 carb, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'll enjoy this. I'll probably have another coffee afterwards, but I'll let you know. Right guys, so bit of a change of plan. I've got to go and meet my dad for a coffee now. I've brought the meal with me. Literally the most boring meal I've got all day. It's yeah, I'll show you. It's chicken with Nando sauce, broccoli and carrots, and that's literally it. Like I said, reason being I'm saving carbs for later. Haven't got many carbs to play with. On a training day, I plan most of the carbs around the workout. Obviously I'm not today, so I like to backload them a little bit just so they, if any can carry over to tomorrow, then great. The last meal is really good. If you haven't tried it before, it's more filling than you think, and it tastes pretty good. And yeah, since then I've literally just done more steps and a bit of work. So off for this now, and then I'll see you for the next one. So looking back on that clip, I think I did that meal a bit of injustice. It's actually quite nice. What I do is I buy like a seasoning from Amazon. It's like a shish kebab seasoning or something for the chicken. It's got no sugar or anything in it, so it's quite macro friendly. So what I do is I mix that with some plain Greek yogurt, 0%, just some normal skyr, and some lemon juice. I mix it all together, dice the chicken up, and then I marinate it in the fridge for at least a few hours, usually overnight, and I just literally throw it all in the air fryer. Because it's quite a lot of chicken, I have to cook it for 20 minutes on 200 degrees. But then it literally lasts me then 3 or 4 days. So all I do is bung it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. After I've microwaved it is when I put the sauce on it. The sauce is Nando's, it's Peronaise, and it's an absolute game changer. It's not the most macro friendly, it's as good as low fat mayo, but it really is worth the calories. I have like 10 grams, which is, I can't remember off the top of my head, it's less than 50 calories. So I used to have that meal with 150 grams of raw weight rice, jasmine rice. And obviously that came down as I've gone through prep, and then eventually I swapped it out for a pita bread because that's 150 calories. And that, as you can see, just been removed. So now it's literally just the chicken and the veg. On the training day I still have the pita bread. I'm dressed in this old hoodie now because we're about to do cardio. So yes, I'm out of stage when I'm doing cardio every day for about 35 minutes, which means even on my rest days I've got to come to the gym. But it's a good excuse to then get some posing and that done as well, because I do need to really work on that for the competition. So I'll get the cardio done now. I might get some steps in afterwards and some posing. And then we're back home for meal 3, which is the last quite bland meal. It's literally just yogurt and fruit. And then I'll start adding carbs to the 2 meals after that. So that's cardio done. So what I do is, there's Stairmaster today, but it doesn't really matter what I do. I just aim to keep my heart rate in between 130 and 140 for the whole time. Yeah, main reason being is as the prep progresses, you'll get, and you do more and more cardio, you'll get fitter and fitter. And if you get fitter, but you don't increase the level of the machine, it'll get easier and easier. So your heart rate will, over time, just be less and less and less for the same amount of effort. So the actual calories burnt will be less. So by measuring heart rate, that'll ensure that you increase the machine's level, or whatever machine you're doing, speed, proportionately for the heart rate, and therefore you'll burn the same amount of calories throughout the prep. Another thing as well is when you get more and more dieted, you tend to get a bit lazier. So as it starts to feel harder as the diet progresses, it might not actually be that much harder, you're just more fatigued. So just having a heart rate range just ensures that you match the calories burnt throughout the prep. But I find the Stairmaster good because you don't have to go too fast on it for your heart rate. I've noticed now on the cross trainer or the treadmill, I have to go pretty fast to maintain the same heart rate that I need. So that's done. I also did some posing, which I don't know if I'll show. I might put some in the clip here. But yeah, I'm very flat, so I'm not the most confident in the photos. But that's that. So I'm on the way home now, so we'll get meal number 3, which, like I said, it's not the most exciting meal, but it tastes good. Anything tastes good at this stage. And then I'll catch you there. And we are back. Fuck. There's no bowls. Ignore all this mess here. Faye had to go to work. I had to go out, obviously, with my dad, so we don't have a chance to clean it. So I'll do that after this meal. But this meal does require a bowl, a big bowl, and 3 of them are in here somewhere. So I'll figure it out. So this meal is mainly that skyr, beautiful stuff. We'll have that with strawberries. Yeah, it's still ripe enough, and that's literally it. I'll put some flavour drops in the yogurt. I used to have dark chocolate with it, but I threw that in my last meal now. So I will suffer, I will live, I'm sure. My protein flavour drops, vanilla, they're alright. So I will now figure out how I'm going to serve this. I'm hoping, so that's, yeah, I'll have to use a Tupperware. Jeez! So, Tupperware. I'll have 450 grams of this and about 100 to 150 grams of strawberries. Don't be too strict with that sort of thing. It's not that many calories. I'm not saying go from 100 grams of strawberries to like a kilo, but if you go over on your veg or your fruit by a little bit, it's not going to kill you. And you'll still be a skinny bitch at the end, which is good. Bam. So 450. I'm quite sad really. What I do with these flavour drops is I put in like 1 drop per 50 grams of yogurt. So it's 9 with this. If I do too much, I get proper acid reflux. I know, it's really sad. And then I'll mix that in, where you get that horrible mouthful of artificial goodness. Yummy. If you want to make it nice, you've got the calories, a bit of granola and honey is the best bet. It literally makes it go from a meal that's all right to a meal that's really nice. So yeah. So there it is. It's my meal number 3. Quite boring. Like I said, it's 450 grams of yogurt and today's 110 grams of strawberries. I aim for about 100. I'm not going to waste 10 grams of strawberries for the sake of it. But yeah, it's quite a lot of yogurt. And some people are crazy enough to have whey with their yogurt. But I'm not gross. So like, whey's nice and yogurt's okay if you flavour it right. But when you mix whey with yogurt, it makes this really sour, yeah, not a very nice mix. So people can do whatever they want. But I'm going to enjoy this now. So I'll catch you all for the next meal. So, meal 4. I'm not that hungry, to be honest with you, which is quite nice. And I think that's the benefit of having lower carbs for your first few meals, when your carbs are lower, is that you don't get that spike in insulin, so you don't get that sugar crash afterwards, and you don't get that hunger craving as much. So this meal is a meal that, as my prep's gone on, is getting nicer and nicer. It's salmon and potatoes. You can see now I've got the potatoes going on there. I did start having rice with this meal. That's how it all started. And then as that volume got less and less and less, I did chips, so homemade chips. And then now I only have 250 grams of potato, so I'm having baby potatoes instead. The salmon is, of course, in the air fryer. So I've got a few minutes left on it. And then I'll have veg as well. And what I'll do with the veg is, the veg you saw me have earlier with the meal 2, I just make the veg for the day. So I'll reheat the rest of that veg for this meal. Voila. And there you have it. Meal number 4. So it's 250 grams of new potatoes, about 100 grams of mixed veg, and then 1 salmon fillet. I'll leave the other one for Faye. And that's that. So I'll eat that now. I'm not going to record myself eating because A, it's a bit weird, and B, I can't be asked doing that fast forward edit thing. So I'm going to enjoy this now, and then I'll show you all meal 5, which is my favourite meal of the day. And then that is that. So I'm fully aware, after editing this video, that it's not the most exciting, but it's just like a realistic day in the life. And I know that I quite enjoy watching videos of people doing their full days of eating, which is weird when you think about it. But I enjoy it too, even when there's not much going on. Sometimes it's even worse when the people are trying to force things that aren't actually happening. And obviously when I go for my walks, or I'll go for a coffee with my dad, or I see my mates, I'm not going to film because I don't really want to ruin that moment. Obviously tomorrow, if I do film that high day, I'll film a bit of training as well, just to make it a bit more exciting. But these full days of eating, they are more for the food. So yeah, doing some steps now while I finish off the editing. These walking treadmills, they are an absolute lifesaver if anyone's wondering, if you want to get your steps in. The weather's horrendous here in the UK at the moment, so that's good. But yeah, this actual whole vlog thing, it's also for me, like just to record the journey and look back on one day. But yeah, so I'll show you meal 5 when I have it. But obviously, any questions or if people want to see any sort of specific content, just let me know. So guys, the last meal, and this last meal is none other than oats. So this is by far my favourite meal. I'm not just while dieting, like literally oats has been my favourite meal probably for the past 2 or 3 years. So I've got 60 grams of oats, and I mix that with either a 5-to-1 or a 6-to-1 with water. I'll do 6-to-1 today. So it's 60 grams of oats, that's 360 grams of water, or mils, same thing. So yeah, 60 grams of oats is quite poverty. It's literally like 2.5 less than what I was having in my off season. I was having 150 then, and a lot less water. So I still cook it very similarly. So I put it in first for about 3 minutes. And then when that's finished, I will give it a stir and put it in again. Because it's only a small bowl, probably for another minute or so, and then let that cool, and then I'll add the toppings. So the toppings with this are the secret, really. I've always liked oats, but ever since I went to perform about 2 years ago now. It's just made oats go from a nice meal to my favourite meal. I like it more than most cheap meals, to be honest with you. But it has to be the chocolate orange whey. So other ways are nice, but the chocolate orange whey with this particular meal is the best. I have an apple, which I'll dice up in a second. Chocolate orange and apple always go together anyway. And then I'll add, again, more dark chocolate. And then because it's a rest day, I get more fats, I'll drizzle on some peanut butter as well. So it's 60 grams of whey. No, it's not. I'm lying to you. It's 60 grams of oats. It's 40 grams of whey. It's an apple, which is probably about 120 grams. And then 10 grams of dark chocolate and 10 grams of peanut butter. And that is everything. So I'll show you the final product. So I'll probably rustle up some feathers, but the only apple you should be getting is Pink Lady. Honey Crisps are also quite nice. People are like Granny Smith, just weird. And there's so much nicer ones out there. But Pink Lady is just, when it's ripe in the season like this one is, it's really, really sweet. Although saying that, I got one last week and it was supposed to be on the shelf for a very long time. That wasn't very nice. But normally, Pink Lady. You can thank me later. So guys, this is it. That's the final meal. Doesn't look very nice. It's much nicer than it looks. But yeah, I basically mix the whey into the oats when it's cooked. Mix the apple in, as you can see, the apple's all mixed in. It's not very artsy. And then I put it in the microwave again for a few seconds to then put the chocolate bits on top. And what they'll do is they'll slowly melt. And yeah, that's the last meal. So what I'll do now is I'll eat this. I'll go in, pick up Faith from work. And yeah, that'll be it for the day, I think. So guys, that is that for the video. Thank you for watching. I'm still wearing the same clothes since cardio. I've not actually had a shower yet, which I know is gross. I'm just getting the last of my steps in now. But yeah, that's it for the video. So the numbers for the day, the totals were at the start of the video anyway, and on the thumbnail. And obviously, if there's any content that you want to see in particularly, just let me know. I'll try and record a refeed day. And obviously in the future I'll record some training days and that as my calories and that adjust and get some training footage. But thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe and all that. And I'll see you all in the next one.